Welcome back, everybody. We just finished up our amazing webinar on how every landscaper can make a profit each and every month.
Yep.
We will be offering some more workshops soon. Those are always listed like on our webpage. You can check them there. I don't know what they're going to be just quite yet. But anytime you're interested in anything that we've got going on, the best place to always just go is our webpage. We'll always have everything on there.
Yeah, we did 2 this month. We always try to take them and tweak them and just to make improvement, just to make sure you guys are getting more value out of them. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll be updating it and we'll get the updated dates here soon.
Yeah. And we just wanted to let you all know, too, that in September, we started out, this was our first month with our new revamp of how we are doing things. And so what we have is it's the Profits Up Inner Circle. And what that is your opportunity to get your systems and procedures done that you need for your business every single month. Just get that shit done every month. It's basically it's kind of like a Systems of the Month club.
Kind of, yeah.
A little bit. We have, in September, we are focusing on your sales system. So getting your sales funnel set up. And then just like the second part was like what you need to send out.
Yeah, just stuff that you send up to let the customer know about you, and then some follow-up emails and stuff like that.
It's all these things that we know that you need to be doing, but you're probably not doing it because you're like, I don't have the time. I don't know where to start. And so we revamped the Profits Up Inner Circle to be your opportunity to get shit done.
Yep.
This is your opportunity you don't have to think about it. You don't have to pre-plan. You just show up and we're like, here's the systems you need and here's how you implement it.
Yep.
Now let's get it made for your business. It's your opportunity to just take the action and get the shit done because we know you're busy. We know you don't have time to plan it all and figure it all out on your own. And that's okay. We got you. Just show up and get it done.
Yeah, the amazing part is people are taking this stuff and then they do a little learning and then they take and tweak it to your business because we can't make it fit to everybody's business. So
you can't outsource your push-ups. We can't do it for you, but we can get you like 80, 90% of the way there.
And the cool thing is you can, as you're working on this stuff and a question pops up, you're not sure about this or whatever, you can just let me know, like people wave, or you can hit the flag hand button, pop up and ask a question. Because if you have the question, somebody else probably has a question there. So it's really a cool feature doing this, how we've been doing it. So
yeah, and this is all based on feedback that we have gotten from our customers because all of the clients that we've worked with in the past 5 years, we've worked with hundreds of landscapers. I would say 8 out of 10 of them know they need to get systems done. And I would also say 8 out of 10 of them, no. 6 out of 10 of them don't get them done. Some people did. Some people just batten down and do it. The rest just keep talking about how they need to do it. They know they need to do it, but but it was the actual physical action of getting them done that was the problem. So we're taking that out of the equation for you.
Yep.
We've got most of the work done. All you do is show up twice a month and get it done. So what we're going to do in October, though, is we're continuing that whole like sales process as a whole. And in October, what we're going to be talking about is overcoming objections that your customers have. And then we're even going to do a little role playing, which don't freak out. I know it sounds awkward and it sounds weird. Everybody feels weird doing it, always. But we have done it with clients in the past, and everybody's like, oh, I'm so glad I did that, because it just helps you you might as well get through those awkward nerves in a safe space with other landscapers that are just trying to do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, what's cool is the feedback you get from others, and like, hey, maybe you should have said this, or maybe you should have done this, or talk about this, or whatever. That feedback is just instrumental to make you become a better salesperson. Because most of us, I would even venture to say, all of us could use a little bit more training on sales. You know, myself included. I went to a sales class a long time ago, and I've learned so much. And we can always improve on it. So it was awesome just doing that live one-on-one role playing in there. And like I said, everybody felt awkward. But
I don't know anybody that doesn't feel weird. So, but you do it anyway. It's okay. It's a safe space.
Yeah, and it was just cool. Like I said, the interactions, and people really, really enjoyed it. And that first one we did it be a month ago, or 2 months ago. But that one we actually went way longer than what we planned, just because it just took time. But people were getting so much out of it. So
that's okay. If everybody's into it, we would rather the class go over and take a little longer to make sure everybody's getting their needs met than to everybody just like standing there and it sound like crickets.
Yeah.
And so, no, that's amazing. But like we said, this is your opportunity to start getting all that shit done that you need to do, but you keep not doing it.
Yep.
So that's what's coming up in October. So go to milliondollarlandscaper.com and you can get to it from there. That's our Profits Up inner circle.
Yep.
Because Scott or I, or Scott and I, depending on who shows up that day, will be leading you through all of this. So you'll be able to ask questions and everything as well.
Yep. It's always a great time.
Yep.
So.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You know you want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com and for $100 off, mention the $1 Million Landscaper podcast.
Easy Beasy's easy to use, easy to learn, affordable work order and time clock app with unlimited users included with every subscription. If you've ever struggled with the daily grind of keeping track of work orders, you have to check out Easy Beasy. Make and edit work orders anytime, anywhere you're working, at your desk, in your truck, on the job site, even on your couch. With Easy Beasy, you can easily copy work orders to use over and over, which is great for mowing and plowing. You can also keep track of employee timesheets, contact your customers, add notes, instructions, even pictures of your jobs. Easy Beasy works on Android and Apple devices or any tablet or computer. Easy Beasy also has a wide variety of reports so you can have all the info you need for billing right from your phone. Say goodbye to paying for extra users because everyone gets unlimited users on Easy Beasy. Try Easy Beasy for free for 30 days. Visit easybeasy.app/MDL to sign up. Easy Beasy is a simple work order and time clock app for mow crews, hardscape crews, and everything in between. Start saving time and money with Easy Beasy. Visit easybeasy.app/MDL to sign up today.
All right. So today we are going to be talking about something I feel is very important this time of year is getting paid, to make sure you're getting paid in time. It's getting towards the end of the year.
Always important to get paid. Extra important right now.
We always have those pain in the butt customers. Most of us have these pain in the butt customers that just are either late paying or just haven't paid at all. And it's very important to make sure you're collecting that money. You did the work, you're owed that money, you need to collect on it. And so today I just kind of want to talk about, why is it so important? Obviously we know we need the money. We need the money to pay our bills and pay our employees, to even start the next project. One thing we see a lot of times happen is, you go collect a job or collect the money for this job or your deposit here, but you're having to use that money to go pay for your employees from jobs you did last week or, whatever it is you're using to pay for materials at a job that you did before. Instead of that deposit technically should only be used on this job over here. Is because they haven't had a collection system in place and something to make sure they're collecting the money on time. So it's very, very important that we keep that cash flow going. It's really cash.
So
is
what
lifeblood.
stops people from collecting on time?
So as far as what stops people is typically it's not having a system in place to allow you to send the invoices out, to send those bills out on a timely manner. Many people and it honestly surprises me how many people have this, that they're just busy working. They're going from one job to the next job, and they're not taking advantage of either the software that they have that can automatically send this stuff out, or they just haven't sat down to actually make sure it's all done and billed out. The problem we see with this, though, is doing that is they tend to forget about the little things that were added on or how long it actually took. And that,
You mean they wait too long to bill the job?
Yeah.
So they've already forgotten what all goes into it. So they're not billing enough?
Yeah,
Is
they're
this
not,
one
they're
of the
not
things
billing
you're saying?
enough. Yeah, like if they use 6 yards of mulch and, they billed or charged initially for 5, she said she'll just pay for it. Well, they forget about that 6 yards. They just go off the contract, which we had 5, and they forget about these things.
So a couple things happened. They waited too long to bill it, and they didn't have a change order in place, is what I'm hearing.
So it's one of those things that you really need to stay on top of it. And like I said, it's being getting towards the end of the year, you have to make sure you're paid up. It's always nice if you can start a fresh year over and you don't have any, all your bills have been paid up. It just makes things that much easier. So I have a couple notes here. Some common things that we see people say all the time is just, it's always it's in the mail. We sent it out last week and it's coming.
Oh, this is what the customers that are, so say you have customers that aren't paying and you have contacted them, via email, phone, however.
Yeah. And, I sent it out in the mail, you just check in the mail. And that just, do you trust the person? Do you not trust the person? So there's things that you need to do for, like, in that specific example is, okay, Mrs. Smith, great, the check's in the mail. Can you tell me what the check number is and tell me when you sent that? And, so I can be on the lookout for it. It should be here in the next few days. And that's a great thing, because if you can check and they can ask for that check number and they don't give you the check number, or they don't give you when they sent it, to me, then it's a red flag. Like, they have not sent it. They have no idea, because they should be easily be able to tell you the check number. And then if they're not, okay, what do we need to do from here to make sure we're getting that payment? So it's always important to ask, okay, hey, Mrs. Smith, you might just let me know what that check number is, and when you sent that, I just want to make sure I document that just so we can, be sure we receive it. So if they kind of stutter about that, then when you figure out what we need to do from here. Sorry, my notes jumped all around here. Some other ones that I've heard people have the issue on is while they're out doing the project and, they keep adding on to the project and you are not collecting the money for that, or not getting a down payment for that, or not even doing change orders for any of that stuff. And, you're just waiting till the job's done to pay you, which I get that. But if you don't have any of that stuff documented, a lot of times that little stuff is forgotten, especially if it's just like a little add-on, made the bed a little bit bigger or whatever it is. And that's where things just kind of you forget about it, because you did it, but you don't remember how much. So it's very important to document that stuff. And I always recommend doing a change order and getting that process started for that. Just because.
Do you collect money when you do a change order?
Depends on how big it is. If it's just like adding on a little bit for edging, I tend not to, just because we have usually a bigger deposit at the beginning from that customer. But I always have a change order to show and document it that is in place. So I know some people are like, it's just a pain in the butt if I'm adding on a little bit. Well, it might be a pain in the butt, but
it's going to be a pain in the butt when they don't pay you for it. So
so it's
if it's not documented.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that you need to make sure you're addressing. Sorry, this thing is very touchy today. It's all over the place. We did cover this a little bit. One of the things that we do see people not taking advantage of is some of the softwares that are out there. So like Jobber and even QuickBooks can send clients reminders. So it automatically takes it upon itself. If they have, you have your term set for whatever it is, 14, 30 days, whatever it is, you can have it set up where it'll automatically send out reminders to your customers. Now, if you're not using any kind of system that has that, what can you do? Well, this is something that Katie used to do in our business. Was we actually had a script, and it's actually available inside our Insiders Club. A script that you can go through with a customer and a sheet, a piece of paper you can print off, and you can document all this stuff when you contacted them, and keep track of all this stuff. And this is very important, because if they still continue not to pay you, and you do have to go to collections or turn into your attorney, you have all this information that's documented. You turn that in. That's a great thing for your business to help you get that money.
And by the time they got to me, I was making phone calls to do it. Because your mom would email and email and email. And if that didn't work, then I would start making phone calls.
Yeah. So it's either, if you have some type of software, make sure you get that set up and make sure you get all the bills in and everything in, so showing that job's done, so you can automatically start sending stuff out, start sending the invoices right away to start getting paid.
Yes. And I guess the only thing that I would add was, of course, I didn't like making collections calls, because I think people don't do them because they don't want to do it. I wouldn't call it like fun. It wasn't the highlight of my day, but I was able to do them. I was able to push through the awkwardness of, I don't want to do this, and do it anyway.
Yeah.
So if you know that somebody owes you money for work that you did, You're not being unreasonable. You might just have to coach yourself through this a little bit. Like, what's hanging me up? Why don't I want to call? So you might just have to coach yourself and remind yourself that, you did your work. You held up your end of the deal. This is just you holding them accountable for their end of the deal. And sometimes people legitimately forget. Yeah. Most of the time, I don't know about most, but a lot of the time, it was just, they were just putting it off. They were just, even though collecting money is like high on our list to get paid for our work, depending on the people, it just like wasn't on their list of things to do that day. They would be a little bit dismissive about it, but I always just kept a good attitude about it. And I called it my customer service voice. So I was always so nice about it. So nice. Even if they were trying to weasel out of it or had 100 million excuses, I was just a little bit relentless about, but what can we do to start getting paid? But what can you send us now? What can you send us, this now and then some later? What can we do to start working towards this? So if you are just like relentless, but like nice about it, that worked actually quite a bit. And so once again, it wasn't my favorite thing to do, but sometimes when you're in business, you just have to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah. It's one of those things that really has to be done. And then just, you look at it that you've done the job, you've fulfilled your part. Now you have to go collect that money. Don't let it just slide. That's the biggest thing. A couple other things you could do, like we said, is having some software or some kind of paper that's set up a form that you can document all this stuff. Another thing is to make sure you're having contracts in place. Contracts are so important. They're going to help protect you.
So many people still don't use contracts, and you could push me over with a feather every time that we hear from one of our clients, or if I see in the Facebook group that somebody didn't have a contract. I'm like, what are you mean? What are you like? These words don't compute. No, it is the modern day. Come on, use a contract.
There's contracts for everything. So, and I've heard like people say, customers don't want it. Well, then that's not the customer I want, because it's there to protect both of you. It's not just to protect you or protect them. It's to protect both of you. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The other thing is, inside that contract, make sure you have it clearly labeled what your terms are. Like, when is that due? Is it due 30 days? Is it net 30? Is it 14/7? I've heard some people due upon completion, So just whatever it is, pick it and choose it and have it in there, like, clearly labeled what it is. Collecting deposits, if it's a bigger job, especially, you need to get however you want, 50% down, third way through, another, whatever it is, just make sure that, again, that's clearly laid out. That will help protect you if they give you a deposit.
Don't even start that job without a deposit.
Yep. So those are a couple things I always recommend that you have in place. All right, this thing is terrible today. So just a couple things if they are late. I just want to share a couple things, like if you want to talk to somebody or call somebody and talk to them, just a couple quick things. You can either use this in like emails, or I've seen people do texting or just calling, just say, hey, Mrs. Smith, just hope you're enjoying your new landscaping, your new lawn, whatever it is. Just a quick reminder that your payment was due a couple days ago. Could you just let us know when, that we can expect to get that payment? And leave it at that and see how they respond, and then just start from there. I always recommend document. Anytime you make a phone call, especially for a late payment, document it some way. I don't care if you're using a CRM, put it in there. Just make sure you document all that stuff. And then you can kind of get a little bit further down. So this next one you're going to send out, this one we're going to a little bit more rougher, I guess. Hey, Mrs. Smith, just noticed your payment for your recent landscape projects 2 weeks overdue. We value you as a client, but we need to keep our business running smoothly, and we haven't received your payment. When can we expect your next payment? Can we expect your payment by end of next week? So just again, we're getting a little bit more firm, but we have to keep kind of going that. And then, there's a final notice. So you can say, hey, Mrs. Smith, payment is now 30 days overdue. This is your final notice before we take any further action. We really like to settle up on this account right away, to avoid any additional fees or any legal action. So that's just kind of the things that I think that you guys need to do, just to kind of keep that progression going. You can send a final notice letter, and then that could be something that you can use to go to court too. Just make sure you document it and keep all the stuff track. Last resort is obviously going to collections, whether they're turning into collection agency or going to small claims court. But small claims court can be timely, and sometimes you don't win, and it's just a hassle. So that's kind of really, to me, that's the
Trying
last.
to avoid that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of goes back just the prevention, like we mentioned, those things, having their contract in place, getting your deposit, using software that can automate the process to kind of keep things going. A few other things you can do too is having the ability to, and this goes along with the software, is having the ability to pay it right then and there. So you email them the bill, and they can go up there directly and click pay. Pay with their credit card, whatever it is. And there's so many different softwares out there now that can do that. So I think that's a great option.
On that note, can I ask you your thoughts on like people that don't want to use the credit cards or use these collection systems that where you pay right there because like, oh, there's fees, oh, there's this, just for funsies. What is your thoughts on that when landscaping business owners don't want to have? Because I'm on team, make it as easy as possible for your clients to pay their bills.
Yeah.
But I know some people kick up resistance. So what's your thoughts?
It's a part of your business. It's an operating cost of running your business. It's no different than, paying for gas for your piece of equipment, whatever it is. You have to have it. It's a necessity nowadays. It is totally normal to have this type of system. And yes, there's fees to it, but again, it goes into running your business. So you can easily figure out that stuff and put it into your overhead, and you're just essentially charging all your customers. Now, you can get into debates whether you want to do that or you charge each customer. However, but it is a cost that needs to be added on, and it's a necessity.
So there are ways to recover this, is what I'm hearing, because that is my thought as well. But it's one of those where I know each and every single time, and I've talked to people outside of the landscaping industry. I've got friends that have businesses, and they and grow and about the fees and the fees. And I'm like, why aren't you just incorporating that into your overhead? I would just, whatever. We don't have to say what I would do, but I would just put it in your overhead and make it part of your operating, like you said. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
It's part of having your business, you just have to have it. And it's not costing you anything. If you're thinking it's costing your money, costing you profits, it's not. Or if it is, it's your fault. You're not charging the customer for that. You can go a whole debate on this. But it's
I just wanted to poke at that a little bit since it came up. So I didn't mean to derail us.
Yeah, but no, it's part of the prevention is just having, getting your contracts, doing the change orders, having the terms and all that stuff laid out in the contract, just staying in front of that customer all the time. And I've heard people say, I just go rip the stuff out. Then I know it's very state to state on what you can legally do and stuff. So I would try to avoid that at all costs. I wouldn't go rip things out.
Hopefully your pre-screening process got rid of like the people that will not pay their bills, but nothing's perfect.
And the other thing too, I didn't really mention this, is looking at why are they not paying. Yes, it may just be they just a pain in the ass customer and just trying to get stuff for free. But a lot of times they're not paying because they're upset about something. Something didn't go right. They were not happy with it. And that goes into another conversation just about communication. Like, you should be out there talking to the customer, especially if it's a bigger landscape project, talking to them along the way. Even if it's a phone call, just hey, just checking in, Mrs. Smith, seeing how you're loving, this and this out there. Talking to them.
Well, and this is where sometimes it does help if you, as the owner, make the phone call, because I would make phone calls and that's fine. But at some point, if they've got a beef and the owner calls, then you can work it out, because you can't always
well, and then
work that out if you're not the owner.
Like we have, and it's in the inner circle, a final walkthrough checklist. So you go through the customer based on what you have in your contract. You go through the customer, all this stuff, and make sure this is done, this done, this done. And at the end, they sign off saying they agreed, everything's good, you're good to go. And honestly, that's the best time to collect that money if you can right then and there. Get that payment at the end, because...
Well, and once again, this is why I like the credit card systems, because, what year is it? Who's paying with checks? I know people still do, but it's fine. But it's just easy to pay right then if you can take a credit card on site. Or they can go directly to your website and do it.
Yeah, so it's very important. But... kind of along Katie's note is having somebody go out there, like the owner going out there. To me, that's, if you made these phone calls, then I, as the owner, I'm going to go out there and pay a visit to that customer. It depends
on the size of the job. I get it. You can't do it for somebody who's like $50 for mowing a yard or something. But Yeah.
But I'm going to go out there and just say, hey, just, I haven't paid. Just kind of curious what's going on. Why haven't you paid?
Yeah.
And just get the input. And maybe they have a legit thing. Maybe you didn't do everything. Maybe you didn't fulfill something or whatever it is. Well, that's a good reason, but it's on you. But so you have to take the action. We've had people in the academy that have gone through and haven't. They've called or not even called. They've just sent the emails directly from, QuickBooks or whatever they're using, sent that stuff off, but they haven't followed up. They haven't called. They haven't gone out there and checked on the job and talked to them. So
yes, because once again, nobody likes to have to be the collector. Well,
no.
There might be somebody, but just chalk it up as part of doing business.
Yeah.
So whatever you have to do to get yourself to go do it, tell yourself you can have a Starbucks afterwards or whatever special treat is. I don't bribe yourself.
Yes.
Whatever it takes, get yourself to do it.
Yeah. So again, just be aware you have to have money coming in. That cash flow is so important to keep that business running, and collections is part of your job as the owner. And I encourage you to stay on top of this. Make sure you're billing your customers on a timely manner. As soon as the job's done, that bill should be going out that day or the next day.
I didn't realize so many people were behind on their billing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I just spoke to somebody the other day that they were weeks behind. Mm-hmm. And they at that time, they just brought on their wife to kind of help them out because they are so far behind in billing because he's out there working in the field and goes on the next job, on the next job, doesn't have time to do it. So it is very important that you stay on top of these things because cash is your lifeblood of your business. You don't have it, you can't do anything.
You're running a business. This isn't a charity.
Yes.
You're not running a not-for-profit. This is a business. So, and this is all part of it.
It is. So if you guys need some help with this type of stuff and want to get these templates and all this stuff, this is the stuff that we have inside our inner circle to kind of help you get paid and make sure we have a specific procedure on how to get paid. That's what it's called. And we have the forms that go along with it. So if you're not using a system or not having kind of documentation, we have all that inside there ready to go. So
absolutely.
So head over to milliondollarlandscaper.com. Go check out the Profits Up Inner Circle and get signed up for that today.
Yes. And if you want to hop in on October's training, get signed up before October. I don't remember the exact day.
I don't remember.
But get signed up. It's usually like the first and third weeks of the month. But get signed up because we're completing the sales system training. And you can always go back. Like even though you weren't a member in September, you can go back and watch the trainings to get the first part of your sales system done. And then this next part, like we said, it's going to be the overcoming objections and then role playing.
Yeah, it's a great system and great tool to start using in your business because many landscapers don't have. They might have procedures on how to install this or that, but they don't have a procedure on how to do the sales. So it's a vital part of your business. So.
Yeah. All righty.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today and have a great day.